Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A pleasure to have you here on the red carpet. Maybe we could begin with an introduction to your film Birdland. Can you tell us a bit about the story and what people can expect?
It's a story about a family, a forest, and it's a tale. It's a very 2.0 story about a family, a land, and the land who belongs to whom. Because it's supposed to be a birdland, the home of birds. So it's going to be a fantastic, crazy story and tale.
And can you tell us a bit about the genesis of the project? What was the inspiration behind it? And why did you want to tell this story on the big screen?
My family comes from Tangier. It's my hometown. And this is the window from where I look at the world. 3 or 4 of my movies are settled there. It's a love story between me and Tangier, and I wanted to tell a story of our world from this window, and taking on consideration the global climate change, and to find a way very contemporary dealing with this story through the eyes of a teenager, a crazy vlogger teenager who is also a Shahrazad 2.0.
Can you tell us about your casting process? How do you decide on them and how did you work with them to achieve your vision?
My casting process, I started with the casting of the main actress, who is Lina, and I have chosen Ifham Mate because she has something very weird, very funny, and quite intense. She didn't during the casting she didn't perform like this Disney way or this stories way of social network. She has something, I don't know, she was coming from the woods, she could belong to Louisiana, she could belong to Scotland, she could belong to any countryside, and I love it because she has a body that is so mysterious, and her face, you can't never tell what she thinks about. She was just great performing this role.
And can you tell us about some of the highlights and challenges of making the film?
Well, the highlights, it's to introduce the social network through a storytelling, and not just on a very superficial way, because the drama is taking on consideration the social network as a chorus. So the social network is a main character inside the movie.
What do you ultimately hope people will take away from watching your film?
That cinema is a crazy, wonderful weapon, and it's we have to invent in every movie a new way of telling stories.
And what does it mean to you to have your film here at the Marrakech Film Festival? And this is, as a celebration of Moroccan cinema.
This is my home, so it's like going back during Christmas for Christian or Eid for us. So it's very tense and very moving. It's very different from international film festival audience, because it's like going back home and having to tell your story. It's always quite puzzling. You don't know what would the family say about your new lover, and so you expect a lot, but you're a little bit frightened. But it went well, and I was quite overwhelmed by the tenderness of the feedback after the screening.
And you just feel like Moroccan cinema is in a really good place, and particularly lots of opportunities for female filmmakers. Do you see it as very healthy, or do you think there's some progress to be made in that respect?
Yeah, I think it's quite impressive, because you have new signatures, and there's not a school, but there's just affirmation of new stories, new way of filmmaking, and this is like a Rubik's cubes. A mirror in a Rubik's Cube, 1,000 ways to tell our stories. So this is really deconstructing ourselves from inside, from cinema. A new generation of Moroccan cinema coming, and it's going to break and rock everything. And I'm really impressed, like a very kid way, because there is no schools, it's not ideological, but each director just want to find his or her way to tell a story without taking on consideration any expectation from the market or from the Western audience or from the festival. It's just a very also wise way of embracing cinema. I'm a historian. I studied history, and I came from an old world where images were rare and forbidden. I grew up during the kind of a very tough period in Morocco called Years of Lead. So in these times, these old times, images were forbidden, or at least under the regime of the censorship. So now we have this revolution coming from the social media where everybody just, every second publishing and writing and storytelling, everything. So what would cinema still what would cinema can invent, and what would cinema can create, and film stage? This is the main issue.